Hi everyone, welcome back to one of my videos. This is Selina. I hope you're well. So today I'm bringing to you a pocket shawl. It's an absolutely lovely project to make. I will be posting plenty of pictures on my blog selinaveronique.com along with the free pattern that you can download, so don't forget to check it out. And yeah, I'm going to walk you through step by step through this tutorial. It's really easy and really beginner friendly. So for this project you will need some Aran weight yarn. So I used Caron Simply Soft. I will be linking everything in the down bar in the description box, and you can use any 100% acrylic Aran yarn. For this project I will be using a 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, as well as a tapestry needle. So I will be walking you through step by step, so the actual V-stitch wrap shawl, and then we will be adding the pockets, and then we will be adding the edging, which is absolutely gorgeous. I apologize for my loose ends. I will be, So I do hope that you enjoy this tutorial. So for this shawl, you are simply going to start by making a slip knot. So just go ahead and make a slip knot. Pop your hook through that slip knot, tighten slightly, and what we are going to be doing is chaining 44. So just go ahead and chain 44. So 1, 2, 3. So I've just made a smaller sample, however you should have a longer chain with 44 chains. And just for your information, in case you want to make this shawl larger or smaller, this pattern is a multiple of 2 plus 2 for your base chain. So once you've got your 44 chains, you are simply going to be placing a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So just count 1, 2, 3 and 4 and go into that and place a double crochet into that. So just pull up a loop, go through 2 loops and then go through 2 loops. And what we are going to do now is place a second double crochet into that stitch. So into that same stitch, just go ahead and place another double crochet. So basically we have 2 double crochets together inside one stitch, and this is what it looks like for now. It will straighten out, and this is our first V stitch. What we are going to do now is skip a chain and go into the next chain and place 2 double crochets into that. So just go ahead and place 2 double crochets into that chain. So and now a second, and skip 1 chain and go into the next and place 2 double crochets into that. And it's simply going to be a repeat of placing 2 double crochets into 1 chain, skipping 1 chain until the end of the row. So you should have all your V stitches, and obviously you should have more than I do. And now I've reached the end of my row, and you should have obviously 44 chains to go through, but I'm just going to show you what to do at the end of your row. So you've got 2 chains left. You're going to skip 1 and go into the last chain and place just a simple double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place just 1 double crochet into that last chain space to finish off your row. And this is what row 1 should look like. And for row 2, so you should obviously have a longer row. So for row 2, we are going to be chaining 3. So just go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, turn your work, and this counts as your first double crochet. And what we are going to be doing now is simply placing a V-stitch into every V-stitch along this row. So you see this is our V-stitch from the previous row, and we're simply going to go into that space directly and place 2 double crochets into that. So just go ahead and place a V-stitch, which is 2 double crochets together. There we go. And just place a V-stitch inside the V-stitch from the previous row. And now this is our next V-stitch. We're just going to be placing a V-stitch into that. On top of that, sorry. So just go ahead and place your V-stitch, and into the next just place a V-stitch into that and into the next. And now we've finished all our V-stitches. Obviously you will have more, but we've got 1 stitch left, which is the chain 3 from the previous row, and what we are simply going to be doing is placing a double crochet into that directly. So just go ahead and place a double crochet into this stitch directly, like so. And this is what your row 2 should look like. And basically what we are simply going to be doing is repeating row 2 over and over. So just chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work, and this is simply going to be a repeat of row 2. Just go ahead and place a V-stitch inside the V-stitch from the previous row, like so, and into the next V-stitch. And I'm just going to let you carry on, so I'm just going to show you once more. So this is just a repeat of the second row, so just go into the last V-stitch. Well, for me it's the last one. And again, in that chain 3 from the previous row, just place a double crochet into that. And this is what we are going to be doing. So you are simply going to be repeating row 2. So you will be repeating row 2 for 88 rows in total. So I'll just let you do that and then show you how to do the pockets, and I'll get back to you. So I've done my shawl, and now I'm just going to show you how to do the pockets. So I've already done one of the pockets. This is what it looks like. I've actually left quite a long tail, I'm showing you now, to sew onto the project. But this is what my pocket will look like. So I've done one, and we're going to obviously be doing 2. And I'm just going to jump right into the tutorial for the pocket. So for your pocket, you are simply going to be making a slip knot. So just go ahead and make a slip knot. Pop your hook through, and you will be chaining 35. So just go ahead and chain 35. So 1, 2, 3. So I've chained a smaller samples, but the principle will be the same. So you should have 35 chains. And what we are going to be doing now is half double crocheting into the 3rd chain from the hook. So just count 1, 2, and 3, and go into that 3rd chain and place your first half double crochet. So we've got 3 loops on the hook. Take your yarn and pull through 3 loops. Go into the next chain space and place a half double crochet into that. And our first chain 2 counts as a half double crochet. And just go ahead and place a half double crochet into each and every chain across until the end of your chain. So I've reached the end of my chain, and I'm just going to show you what to do next. So this is what it looks like. And for row 2, we are simply going to be chaining 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and you are simply, so this counts as your first half double crochet and goes with this stitch, So we're just going to go into the second stitch and place a half double crochet into that. So just go ahead and place a half double crochet into that, and this is what it's going to look like. And then place a half double crochet into the next stitch and into the next stitch and into the next stitch, and you see I've almost reached the end of my row, so I'm just going to place a half double crochet into that half double crochet here. And now I've got my chain 2 from the previous row right here, and this counts as a half double crochet, so we are simply going to be placing a half double crochet into that chain 2, and this is what it's going to look like for now, but it is going to straighten out as we go along. So now you are going to chain 2, turn your work, and we are simply going to be repeating row 2. So this counts as our first half double crochet, so just go directly into the next half double crochet and into the next, and just repeat row 2 that I just showed you until you reach the end of this row. And don't forget your chain 2 from the previous row. Don't forget to place a half double crochet into that, and just repeat row 2 for 23 rows. So I'm just going to let you carry on doing this for 23 rows, and then I'll show you how to sew your pocket onto your shawl. So I've gone ahead and placed my pocket where I want it to be. So you are simply going to be placing your pocket this way, and basically you are placing it just so that the bottom of the pocket is just sat on top of row 1, if that makes any sense. I will be measuring this and writing all of this down on my blog, so don't forget to check that out. And we are going to be placing it obviously symmetrically, so just measure each side of your shawl just to make sure that it's nice and symmetrical. It so happens that for me each side of the pocket falls on top of the third V-stitch. So just kind of right on top of that third V-stitch here, and that from the border, and then on the third V-stitch from this side too, if that makes any sense. So that's how I've placed my pocket, and now we are simply going to start sewing it in. So I've left a long tail for sewing. So I've zoomed in to show you how I'm going to sew my pocket in. However, I know it's hard to see because it's blue on blue, but I hope it will still make sense. So I've popped my needle through, and we are simply just going to very basically go through the corner like so, pull all the length of our yarn through this, and we're just going to go all the way down, just sewing in this pocket like so, very simply. So it's a very simple stitch. I am going to try and secure it quite well, but as you can see, it's a very simple stitch. Just try and make it as neat as possible, but to be fair, it's really not a complicated thing to do. So I'm just going to let you carry on sewing in your pocket. So you're going to go down like this, and then you're going to go this way, and then up again, and then once you reach this side, you are simply going to fasten off and tidy up your loose end. I will be linking a video on how to tidy up your loose ends, and that will be your pocket sewed in. And then you are going to be sewing both your pockets in, so basically you are simply going to apply the exact same process to the other side of your shawl, and placing your pocket in the exact same way that I've just showed you. So just repeat that process for the second, pocket, and then I'll get back to you to show you the border. So now I'm just going to show you how to do the border. So for the border, I've already tied my yarn onto the corner here. So to begin this row, so as I've said, I've tied my my yarn and done a knot. I'm popping my hook through, pulling my yarn through, chaining one, and now we are simply going to be placing a single crochet all along the edge of this shawl. So there are no proper stitches, if that makes any sense. It's kind of rough edges. So what we are going to be doing is placing enough single crochets all along, so there's not a specific amount of single crochets that you need to pop in. However, just make sure that you pop them as equally as possible, like as symmetrically as you possibly can, and also make sure you place enough of them because you don't want your fabric to pull after a few rows. So just do like me, just go ahead and pop your single crochets all along, and yeah, just make sure that you place enough single crochets all along your project on the sides. When you reach the corner here, just carry on onto the other side and carry on for the 4 sides of this project, and then I'll show you how to slip stitch to the first chain and then how to do row 2. Yeah, so I've gone around the whole shawl with a single crochet, and I think it gives a really nice effect. So I'm just going to show you a close-up. And now I'm just going to finish row 1. So there we go. So I've gone around with single crochets, and I'm simply going to finish off by popping my hook through the first chain that we made, pull up a loop and pull through this loop, and we've slip stitched. So I've zoomed in and I'm just going to show you row 2. So row 2 is going to be a row of double crochet. So to begin, you are simply going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and this counts as your first double crochet. So now that you've chained 3, you are simply going to be placing double crochets all along. So just go into the next single crochet from the previous row and place a double crochet, and into the next stitch and place a double crochet, and just go all the way along placing double crochets into each and every stitch. And once you finish this row of double crochets, you are going to be doing exactly like what I've just showed you, slip stitching into the 3rd chain right here to finish this row, and then you are simply going to do the same again, chain 3 and then place double crochets all the way along. So we are actually going to have 2 rows of double crochets in total. Okay, so I've just finished my project. So as you can see, I've got my 2 rows of half double crochets right here in my pocket shawl, and I'm really happy with the result. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you like this video, and see you next week for a next crochet tutorial.